Good evening, aspirants. Welcome to Laexcellence IAS Academy. This is Ajay Kumar, and today I'm here to give you some understanding about the UPSC Prelims question paper with respect to the subject of current affairs. And also, one of the other important component is about the international institutions and other related aspects of the world. So let's look into this. So before we go into this understanding, obviously, there's no doubt that current affairs do play a very major role, and it's a combination of many subjects. But specifically, if you want me to highlight, I'll be specifically dealing with 11 important questions on the current events. And then there are 3 interesting issues with respect to the international issues too. Okay, so if you look into the first one specifically, the question number 15, I'm taking the set B as a source for this, and I'm giving this particular review. So coming to the question number 15, which of the following launched the Nature Solutions Finance Hub for Asia and Pacific? See, this is a very interesting approach that has actually been brought up by the world, because this was brought up by the Asian Development Bank, specifically with respect to what do you call it as the International Institution of Asian Development Bank. This has come up with this. So the objective is very interesting here, where they are going to make a kind of a $2 billion worth sort of investments that will be brought up to fight these kind of issues like biodiversity or any kind of climate change and such kind of issues in the Asia Pacific region in particular. So that makes here very clearly the answer for this is going to be the option A, that is Asian Development Bank. Okay, so moving to the second question, that is question number 41. It is asking you about the following statements, and it's asking about these countries. They have given a list of countries and asked us to tell us which of them are the members of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, and which we may know very well. It's talking about the organization of NATO, right? So one thing that we have to understand, this is a very generic question that you could say, because these days in the Cold War time and post that, we have seen a different kind of situation in the world right now. So this is specifically pointing out to the countries of the NATO. As we know that the NATO currently consists of 32 countries. And of these, this is asking about how many of them are members. If you could see, Austria especially and Serbia particularly, so these two are not a part of the NATO, which means the Bulgaria, Croatia, Sweden and North Macedonia are the members of this. So that makes answer would be option B, that is only 4. So moving further to the next question. So if you look into this one very clearly, looking into this question number 50. So consider the following statements about Rashtriya Gokul mission. So one thing that we have to understand about the Rashtriya Gokul mission is that this was a program that was brought up by the government of India specifically to focus on indigenous breeds of the bovine, which we say cattle. So now, if you look into the statements, it is saying it is important for the upliftment of rural poor, as a majority of the low producing indigenous animals are with small and marginal farmers and landless laborers. So the statement makes it very clear that if you look into a country like India, which is agriculturally very much dominant, and we also know there is a great culture of what do you call it as a pastoral economy too. And most of the people in the rural areas do have the indigenous breeds only. So the government has come up with this kind of initiative where we would promote the indigenous breeds more in our day-to-day activities. And as we know that majority of the people in the rural areas are basically from this particular small and marginal farmers too. And now in order to support them, we need to promote the indigenous breeds mostly. So the promotion of local cattle, the indigenous buffalo is a clear motive behind this particular mission. And accordingly, if you look into both the statements, it is for the upliftment. Obviously, when you're promoting indigenous breeds, that will help none other than the small and marginal farmers. Number 2, it is focusing on indigenous cattle. And when you look into this particular question, that makes it very clear. The answer here is both the statement 1 and 2 are correct. Answer would be option C. Moving further, who amongst the following are the members of the jury to select the recipient of Gandhi Peace Prize? This is the question number 53. Now, when you look into this, so the Gandhi Peace Prize was instituted by the government of India in the year 1995 to commemorate the 125th birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi. And when you look into this, so it is given to those particular people who have done a great work with respect to the non-violence. Any kind of movement that has been taken up with the non-violence as a tool So such kind of people would be selected for what do you call it as the Gandhi Peace Prize. And for this, the jury of the prize includes, like, it doesn't include the President of India, it does include the Prime Minister, it does include the CJI, it does include the leader of opposition in Lok Sabha. Apart from that, it also has Speaker of Lok Sabha, and then there is one person who is an eminent person is also made a part of the jury. And this question is asking is, which among these are the juries to select them? And answer is very clear. 2, 3 and 4 are the right statements, and answer would be option C. Going further into the next question. So question number 55. So this is very much in the news because we have seen the Paris AI Summit was held in the year of 2025. In fact, the Paris AI Summit was held with the cooperation of both France and India. But before that, this question is very interesting because it's a bit tougher question also, I would say, because this is talking about the AI Summit which held in the past. If you look into the statements, it says regarding the AI Action Summit held in Grand Palais of Paris in, what do you call it as, the France. So one thing that we have to identify here is that it was co-chaired with India. The event builds on advances made at Bletchley Park Summit held in 2023 and Seoul Summit held in 2024. So this is a factual question, we could say. In order to answer this, you need to know about the previous summits also. You could say 2023 summit, which is talking about the Bletchley Park Summit. It happened in UK. 2024 summit, it happened in Seoul. So that is a very clear thing, but based on the facts, yes, the first statement is right. Because whatever we have achieved from 2023 summit, 2024 summit, we have to go further into this. When you go for the second statement here, along with other countries, US and UK also signed the declaration on inclusive and sustainable AI. But here comes a problem. In the previous summit of 2024, both UK and US have signed the entire declaration. But one interesting part is, both the countries of USA and UK have not signed the declaration on this aspect called inclusive and sustainable usage of AI. So there was a controversy around it where UK and US is not agreeing to some of the terms of this agreement. So they did not sign it. So when you look into this particular question, that makes it very clear. The first statement is right and the second statement is wrong. And answer for this here is very clear. That's going to be the first one is the right statement here. Okay. So that makes the answer is option A. Going further to the next question, number 56. So it is talking about various international years. The United Nations General Assembly generally comes up with some of the key aspects with respect to international years. So the major purpose is to encourage a kind of awareness, about some of these aspects too. For example, earlier we have seen International Year for Millets. So that is basically to promote a kind of a greater recognition to the millets and such kind of things. And this is talking about International Year for Women Farmer, International Year for Sustainable and Resilient Tourism, Peace and Trust, Asteroid 2029 Awareness. So this particular one is actually the Asteroid Awareness and Planetary Defense of 2029. So these are the 4 things that have been given and all these are rightly matched here. And when it comes to this, obviously the answer is going to be option D with respect to, these particular question too. Okay. So now going further to the next question. So question number 59. So this question is specifically talking about the first Coco World Cup, which happened, very recently in India. And the event was held in Delhi of India. That is the right statement. There's no doubt because, till date, we used to have this kind of mindset when it comes to the UPSC that sports was actually a kind of ignored concept. To everyone's surprise, in fact, this time 2 questions have actually been asked when it comes to the sports part, right? So when it comes to this way, the first statement which is talking about the event was held in Delhi of India, that is definitely a right statement. And second statement, the Indian men bet Nepal with a score of 78-40 in the final to become the world champion in men category. And similarly, the Indian women bet Nepal, with a score of 54-36 in the final to become the world champion in women category. See, this statements looks easy because, the known facts that we generally look into is that India won. Be it men or be it women, India won. This is something that we talk. But interestingly, this time UPSC played a key role here. In fact, they actually wanted to play with the minds of the aspirants. So what did they do is that though the first statement is absolutely right, the second and third are a bit changed. You could see what is this? Indian team won over Nepal, Indian men team and Indian women team both. But the thing is, they have interchanged the scores. where the Indian men team won with 54-36 and women team won with 78-40. That has been interchanged. And this is asking you for the right statements. So statement 2 and 3 both are wrong. So answer for this is going to be option A, that is 1 only. Moving further into the next one, it's about the chess Olympiad. So every one of us have actually heard a lot about, Mr. Gukesh Dommaraju, where how he has actually become the youngest grandmaster, and this is everywhere in the news. But the point is, UPSC, as I told you, is all about details. Yes, Gukesh Dommaraju has become the youngest grandmaster, we generally say, but he won that in the FIDE championship of the chess. It is not through the 45th Chess Olympiad which happened in 2024. The point to understand here is that the 45th Chess Olympiad which held in 2024, in that the Russian player Mr. Ayan did not attend at all. So there is no chance of Mr. Gukesh winning over Mr. Ayan. So obviously the first statement is wrong. But the second statement, which is talking about Abhimanyu Mishra, an American chess player, holds a record of becoming the world's youngest ever grandmaster, and this is absolutely right statement. So going by this, the answer would definitely be option B here, because the first statement is wrong. Moving further to the next one, question number 62. Now that is a very interesting question and sounds a bit easy, right? But when you look into this, the Indian Railways have prepared a national rail plan to create a future-ready railway system by, the answer is not 2028, it is by 2030. That makes a difference. It is 2030. The second statement, Kavach, an automatic train protection system. Yes, it is an automatic train protection system, but the point to be remembered, it is developed indigenously with the support of Indian companies. But what was given here is German collaboration is absolutely wrong. Okay, so both the statement 1 and 2 are wrong. When you look into this, Kavach system uses RFID tags that are fitted on the tracks. That is true. And answer here is definitely going to be 3 only if that is asked for correct. But what did they ask? Here is not correct. So answer is option A, that is both 1 and 2. Going further, which organization has enacted the nature restoration law to tackle the climate change and biodiversity loss? Again, this is the factual based question. As we have seen in the past about how the Asian Development Bank has brought up an initiative of $2 billion investment. That's a similar kind of thing where the European Union has brought it, especially with respect to the European region. And answer is definitely going to be option A. Okay, next question is about the BRICS. Now, BRICS is a very interesting concept because international organizations are very much in the news in the recent past, be it BRICS, be it BIMSTEC, and all of these have been shown in the UPSC prelims. The 16th BRICS summit was held under the chairmanship of Russia in Kazan. Indonesia has become the full member, obviously. The theme of the 16th BRICS summit was strengthening multiculturalism for just global development and security. But here is some minute details. I already told you, UPSC is about the details and clarity of the thought. When it comes to this question, yes, 16th BRICS summit, well, there is no doubt at all. You can easily say the first one is right. Second one, if you are following the current updates very well, you can see second one is also right. But third one is something very interesting. If you look into the theme of 16th BRICS summit, what it says is strengthening multilateralism, for fair global development and security. But here it is given as multiculturalism. This makes a big change. So that only the single word has completely changed this, and answer would be option A, that is 1 and 2. Moving further, this is a bit tactical question, I would say, when it comes to this, because UPSC says if there are multiple answers, choose the most appropriate one, right? So when you look into this question is about the international north-south transport corridor. It's something which involves India all the way. It goes through Central Asia, and from there it goes towards the European region, right? So when you look into this is something which is clear. India has constructed Chabahar port, right? That is in Iran. From there, it goes to Central Asia. From there, it goes all the way to Europe. And going by this, according to the majority of the experts, the answer here will be option A, right? But there could be a confusion if you look further that this may be going through Azerbaijan too. But as it says, the most appropriate answer, for time being, we would generally say the answer is going to be option A, and that is about this one. And moving on to the next question. It's about PM Surya Ghar Mufti Bijli Yojana. So this is a very important scheme. If you look into the amount of power that is generated in India, majority of the power is generated through the thermal power plants, and it is followed by solar power, right? The second highest is solar power. And the government wants to encourage it more and more. So they have started a program, PM Surya Ghar Mufti Bijli Yojana. As part of it, they have come up with a target of doing that with 1 crore solar rooftop panels. That is right. There's no doubt about it. It's a Ministry of New and Renewable Energy that generally takes care of it. They actually, now it is not just about installation of solar, rooftop panels, but it is also beyond that. They'll focus on training on installation, operation, maintenance, and rooftops also. And the next thing is, they want to create 3 lakh skilled manpower through this particular scheme, so that would help the rural grassroots people more and more. So when you look into this statement, the scheme's exact details were given here. So there is nothing much to discuss here. The answer is definitely going to be option D, that is 1, 2, and 3. And the last question that we have is about the BIMSTEC, a very important organization in the news, because we have seen SAARC has become ineffective, and India is trying to actually ignore Pakistan, and the alternative they have seen is BIMSTEC. And when it comes to this, it's a regional organization, Bay of Bengal as a region, if you can see. It's a regional organization with 7 member states, that is right. It came into existence with the signing of Dhaka Declaration of 1990. And one thing to understand here, it has not come into existence with the Dhaka Declaration, rather it has come into existence with what do you call it as Bangkok Declaration. So that makes the statement 2 is wrong. So Bangladesh, India, Sri Lanka, Thailand, and Nepal are founding members. The first 4 are right. Bangladesh, India, Sri Lanka, Thailand are right. They are the founding members. Later on, Nepal joined them later. So that doesn't make it a part of this, and it is not a founding member. The statement 3 is also wrong. Lastly, in BIMSTEC, the subsector of tourism. If you look into BIMSTEC, this depends on the sector-wise thing, and the tourism sector is currently being led by India. So second and third statements are wrong here. The first and fourth makes it the right option, and answer would be option C. Okay, so this is how the entire aspects relate to the current affairs and the international organizations has been covered in the UPSC. And this is definitely a moderate paper, and we'll have a better analysis in this one. Okay, thank you and have a good day.